In this video we are going to cover the assembly process for an easy DIY Murphy bed. We are going to assemble a horizontal full-size Murphy bed. Please note the assembly steps and procedures are the same for all the other easy DIY Murphy bed sizes and cabinet orientation. If you are planning on painting or staining your Murphy bed, we recommend you do it before assembling the bed. Removing the hardware parts will make it a lot easier to paint or stain the wooden parts before the assembly process. If you have laminate or hardwood flooring, we recommend that you apply protective padding under the cabinet sides, parts F, to protect the floors. You can easily buy felt or similar protective pads at any local dollar store or hardware store. You may need to trim the pads to size, to fit under the cabinet sides. Just place the protective pads on the ends of the cabinet sides as shown here. Do this for both sides. Before you start assembling the Murphy bed, it is recommended that you place a protective covering, or carpet on the floor if you are assembling the Murphy bed on laminate or hardwood flooring. This will protect your floor from scratches and other damages when assembling the DIY Murphy bed. Using a helper, slowly lower your bed frame onto the floor if it is standing. Note the bed frame is resting on the bed handles at this point. If there is no carpet on the floor, the handles could potentially scratch the floor during the next steps of the assembly process. Grab the white nylon spacer and shim washer that came in the hardware bag, included in the hardware kit. Grab one of the cabinet sides, part F, and place it alongside the bed frame with the finished edge resting on the floor. Slide the 1/2-inch white spacer onto the male pivot rod on the cabinet side. Now slowly insert the male pivot rod into the hole on the lower plate. The male pivot plate should easily slide into the hole. Our male pivot plate features a unique self-locking pin that will securely keep the male pivot in place when it is inserted into the lower plate. Even though it is not 100% required, we recommend you install the white shim washer that come with the hardware. This will eliminate any small gaps between the auto locking pin and the lower plate. The cabinet side is now installed. Repeat the same steps to install the other cabinet side. Now it's time to install the cabinet top-bottom between the two cabinet sides. Place the cabinet top unit between the two cabinet sides as you see here. Grab some scrap wood such as the leftover 1x2 pieces from the bed frame construction and stack 2 pieces together so that total height is 1.5 inches. Place the block under the cabinet top unit. This will raise the cabinet top unit, so it is flush with the rear of the cabinet sides. Do this on both sides. Using a wood clamp, clamp the cabinet top unit to the cabinet sides, making sure the two tops are flush with each other as shown here. Also make sure the cabinet top rear is flush with the unfinished edge of the cabinet sides. Note that when assembling a vertical style Murphy bed, the cabinet top rear, part GD, will overhang 1/4 inch over the cabinet sides. This 1/4 overhang can be trimmed flush with the cabinet sides if desired. With the pencil, mark 4 equally spaced pencil marks on the cabinet top sides parts GE. Pay close attention to the placement of the pencil marks so they clear the existing wood screws. Using 1¼ inch long wood screws, drive 4 screws on each side where you place the pencil marks. Drive more screws if needed. These will secure the cabinet top to the cabinet sides. Now remove the wood clamps and spacer blocks on both sides. Now it's time to attach the upper header and the lower header to the rear of the bed. Measure and mark according to the measurements shown in Section 4 of the assembly guide, that is included with the Easy DIY Murphy Bed Hardware Kit. The unfinished edge of the lower header part E will be 16 inches from the bottom end of the cabinet sides. You may use a stool or similar object to hold up the lower cabinet header, or you may use a helper. Set up the lower header as shown, 16 inches from the bottom end of the cabinet sides. Note that this 16-inch measurement can be changed a little to suit your custom setup. Just keep in mind you will need to access the rear of the bed cabinet to install the Easy Lift pistons, therefore do not close the back of the cabinet before installing the Easy Lift pistons. Measure and mark according to the measurements shown in Section 4 of the assembly guide. Drive 3 2-inch long wood screws where you placed the pencil marks. Make sure the screws are flush. Do this for the other side as well. For more advanced woodworkers, pocket screws can be used to attach the upper and lower headers to the cabinet sides instead of wood screws. Now let's attach the upper header, part EA, to the bed cabinet. Measure and mark according to the dimensions shown in Section 4 of the assembly guide. Place the top header between the cabinet sides, making sure the finished edge of the header is facing away from the cabinet top. Use 2-inch long wood screws to secure the cabinet top header to the cabinet sides. Make sure the screws are flush. Repeat the same steps for the other side. Note you may also use pocket screws instead of wood screws. The upper and lower headers have now been installed. If you have opted to install the optional kick panel, this would be the time to do it. Refer to Section 5 of the assembly guide for installation instructions for the optional kick plate. Using the kick plate is highly recommended to help keep the cabinet sides pinned in at the bottom over time. It is recommended that you shim the front of the kick plate so it is flush with the cabinet sides. Place the kick plate between the two cabinet sides. Drive 2 2-inch long wood screws to secure each cabinet side to the kick plate, part K. You may also use pocket screws for this step. The kick plate has been installed. Using a helper, grab the bed cabinet by the cabinet top, slowly and carefully raise it until it is standing up vertically. Note that your bed frame will drag on the floor, so make sure your carpet or protective padding is in place before raising the cabinet. Now grab the bed frame with your helper and slowly and carefully raise it until it recesses all the way into the cabinet at the top. Note the bed frame will be heavy at this point, more so for the vertical style Murphy beds. Notice here how the footer end of the bed frame is recessed into the cabinet at the top. It is also very important to note that the cabinet top stopper unit is not installed at this point. If you have installed it, please remove it before raising the bed frame. Do not let go of the bed frame until you have placed wood clamps to eliminate the possibility of the bed frame accidentally falling forward, which would be very dangerous. If you choose not to use wood clamps, have your helper hold the bed frame by the handles, so it does not accidentally fall forward. For this next step, make sure that there is at least 2 to 3 feet between the wall and the bed, so you can comfortably fit behind the bed cabinet. Now it's time to attach the two, made in USA easy lift pistons that comes with the Murphy bed kit. Notice the label on each of the pistons indicating which end of the piston should be facing up, towards you. Also, it is important to note the easy lift piston system stores a lot of mechanical energy, which can be dangerous if you do not follow these instructions. Do not try to compress the pistons by hand or by any other means other than the procedure shown here. Please do not try to do your own thing. Grab one of the pistons and align the end fitting on the narrow rod end of the piston body, and gently push the end fitting onto the ball stud on the lower plate. The piston end fitting should easily snap onto the ball fitting without much effort. If the end fitting on the top end of the piston does not line up with the ball stud on the plate, simply grab the body of the piston with your hands, and slowly rotate it until it lines up with the ball stud. Your helper needs to be in front of the bed frame to properly attach the upper end fitting to the ball studs. Get your helper to slowly move the bed frame in and out, in a range of a couple of inches, until the end fitting on the piston lines up with the ball stud on the plate. The end fitting should easily snap onto the ball stud once you get it lined up. If you are unable to get the end fitting on the piston to line up with the ball stud, double check your measurements, especially the measurement on the cabinet sides between the upper piston plate and the bottom end of the cabinet sides. See section 13 of the construction guide for measurements and more details. Also, make sure you have not installed the cabinet top stopper unit, as already mentioned, as this will prevent the bed frame from moving into the cabinet at the top, making it impossible to install the easy lift pistons. Repeat the same steps to attach the other easy lift piston to the other side of the bed cabinet. After you have installed both easy lift pistons, the bed frame should still be recessed in the cabinet a little at the top as shown here. You may now safely remove the clamps and let go of the bed frame. It is very important not to try to open the bed frame at any point until it is properly anchored to the wall, which will be covered in the next step. Trying to open the bed will cause the bed cabinet to fall forward along with the bed frame, and this is unsafe and very dangerous. In this section we will cover the steps for anchoring the bed cabinet to wood studs, which are found in most homes throughout North America. Now move the bed frame against the wall where you are planning to have the Murphy bed. If you have baseboards installed in the room where you are placing the Murphy bed, please refer to section 1 of the assembly guide for step-by-step instructions on how to prep the cabinet sides to clear the baseboards. Using 2 pieces of cardboard or wooden shims, insert the shims into the gap between the cabinet side and the bed frame. Do this on both sides as shown here. This will make sure the bed frame is properly centered and square within the cabinet before the cabinet is anchored to the wall. If this step is not completed properly, the bed frame may rub near the top of the cabinet after it is anchored to the wall. Please remember that most homes will have studs 16 inches apart. If you are anchoring your Murphy bed to a concrete or brick wall, you may use Tapcons or any other suitable concrete anchoring hardware found at most hardware stores such as Home Depot or Lowe's. Refer to our assembly guide for proper directions when anchoring the bed cabinet to concrete or metal studs. You may also consult with qualified staff at your local hardware store for more information about the different types of hardware suitable for your application. If you are anchoring your bed to metal studs, which are found in some commercial buildings, you may use toggle bolts. Use a stud finder to find the location of the studs in the wall. Mark the location of the studs using a pencil or painting tape. Typically, the distance between each stud will be around 16 inches in most cases. It is important to use the proper specified number of wall anchors to properly secure the Murphy bed cabinet to the wall. You can also refer to our assembly guide for the proper number of anchors. Using a pencil, measure and mark the location of your lag bolts on the cabinet top rear part GD, where you located the studs in the wall. Using a 1/4 inch drill bit, or appropriate drill bit, drill through the rear of the cabinet top part GD, and into the wall approximately 1 to 2 inches deep. Please note you may need to change the size of the drill bit to suit the diameter of the lag bolts you are using. Here we are using 5/16 diameter lag bolts with washers. If you are driving the lag bolts by hand with a wrench, you may need to enlarge the 1/4 inch holes in the cabinet top rear to make it easier to drive the lag bolts into the wall. If you are using an impact wrench, you may skip this step. We have now attached our double-size horizontal Murphy bed to the wall using 4 lag bolts. You may now remove the shims between the bed frame and the cabinet. Now it's time to finally install the cabinet top stopper unit. The cabinet stopper unit is designed to stop the bed frame at the proper point when the bed is closed. Get your helper to pull the bed open a little bit at the top, so you can easily slide the cabinet top unit between the cabinet sides until it rests on the cabinet top bottom. The gap along the top between parts GA and the footer end of the face panels should be even. This gap may be anywhere from 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch. Making sure the front of the cabinet top unit is flush with the front of the cabinet sides, drive 1 1/4 inch long wood screws into part GC on the cabinet top stopper to secure it to the cabinet top bottom as shown here. The cabinet top stopper has now been attached to the cabinet top bottom. This will also make the bed frame flush with the front finished edges of the cabinet sides. Please note that at this point, if you want to open the bed, it will be a little difficult, because a Murphy bed needs the weight of the mattress to work properly. Do not be afraid to open the bed by slowly pulling on the handles. Now it's time to attach the folding legs to the side rails if you haven't already done so. You may also use a 40 to 50 pound weight such as a dumbbell to keep the bed frame down. You may also place a stool under the bed frame to assist you in installing the legs. Identify the left and right leg by the stamped text on the leg plates. Remove the 3 machine screws on the side rail that were installed during the construction steps. Place the leg on the side rail as shown here. Drive each of the machine screws into the cap nuts on the side rails to secure the folding leg to the side rail. Repeat the same steps to attach the other leg to the other side of the bed frame. You may finish tightening the machine screws using a 5/32 or 4 mm Allen wrench. The Murphy bed folding legs are now installed. Please note the bed frame will not stay down until the mattress is placed on it in the next step. Slowly open the bed frame and hold it down. Get your helper to hold down the bed frame. Undo the quick release mattress clip. Now grab your mattress and slowly slide it onto the bed frame. The weight of the mattress along with the weight of the bed frame will counterbalance the mechanical forces in the easy lift pistons, making the bed frame easy to open and close. Reattach the mattress clip to hold your mattress on the bed frame. Pull on the loose end to tighten it. The easy DIY Murphy bed is now complete and ready to be used occasionally or daily. You are now ready to enjoy a lifetime of comfort and convenience. If you have decided to install the optional leg crossbar, please watch the video titled, "Attaching the Leg Crossbar," in the videos section of our website for step-by-step instructions. Thank you for watching.